Today we welcome back again to our talk show about teaching and learning. Teaching is the occupations, professions, or work of a teacher. If you are a teacher, you do the job of teaching. If you are a teacher, you teach. And teaching can be defined as engagement with learners to enable their understanding. Enable their understanding and applications of knowledge. Make them understand. Make them apply of the knowledge they gain from you. This is teaching. But what happens to your teaching? What is the best way of teaching? How to make the student enable their understanding? How to make students apply best of their knowledge? This is the problem that all teachers need to solve. And this should be the goal of teaching. If you want to be a best teacher, then this question comes up to you. How do you enable your students to make them understand? And to make them being able to apply the knowledge? I'm gonna share with you 5 ways of enabling your students' understanding. Teaching is not easy. But teaching is art. That we say that when we get a Bachelor of Teaching, then it is called Bachelor of Art of Teaching. So it is arts of teaching. So what kinds of art of teaching do you express yourself in class? How do you express your art of teaching in class to make your class feel very happy to enjoy with your transferring of knowledge? So come back again. How do you enable your students' understanding? Number 1, to make them enable their understanding, make sure that you make your students happy. Make them feel happy, not pressure. Their mind is very open and feel ready to accept new things. And feel ready to accept new knowledge, new lessons, and experience. Make them happy. How can we make students happy? Yeah, you say that make them happy, but how can we make our students happy? It's not easy, yeah? But that is what all teachers need to do. Make your student happy. But actually, dear teacher, you have to be happy before you enter into your class. If you're a teacher and you are not happy, you are not a happy teacher, you come to the class and you say that I want my students to be happy. That's impossible. Do it by yourself first. Experience yourself first. You want to make your student happy? Then you have to be the first man of a happy man. Make yourself happy before you enter into your classroom. When you feel happy, then you are able. You are able to make your student happy. there's a lot of techniques that you learn at school before you become a teacher. That how do you make your student happy? It means that how to make your student ready to accept the new application of the knowledge. Sometimes you do a warm-up. Usually teachers do a warm-up activity by singing, by doing some games, by doing some exercise in class, and make sure that students are ready in class, not in the playground anymore. But don't forget to make them smile. If you just make your students feel that they are in class and not in the playground, it's not enough. This is a warm-up activity that a lot of teachers make it in class. But I want to add one point that make them happy. Make them feel that they are not in the playground anymore. And additionally, they are happy. Make them happy. And you are to be a happy teacher first. Number 2, you make your student happy, and then to enable their understanding, you have to be careful of your dress. You have to dress properly. So in the state school teachers have to wear a shirt, not a t-shirt like this, not a t-shirt. Teachers have to wear shirts, and they have to put their shirts into their trouser or into their skirt. That is the rule. That is the regulation of each school. But what happens if you don't do that? If you dress inappropriate in an inappropriate way. If your shirt is not good looking, you don't have to wear a high class or brand shirts or trouser. It's just a simple clothes or simple uniform that it's very simple but acceptable. Good looking, just feel good looking and professional. You are a teacher and you are a professional teacher. Even you are a state school teacher in the primary school, but it doesn't mean that you are in a low grades teacher. No, you are teaching in the kindergartens, you are teaching in the primary school, but actually you are a great teacher and you are very professional. So professional teacher have to wear professional shirt. You have to dress professionally. So people judge other people through their expressions. So they will look at your shirts. They will look at your face. They will look at how you make up yourself, how you dress, how you behave. So attitudes, behavior go first. People will judge you according to what you dress, according to what you behave, according to what your appearance is. So to enable students' understanding, be careful of your dress. Dress properly and professionally. Number 3, you should have a pre-planned plan beforehand before you come into the class. Today, what is your teaching plan? What is the goal of teaching today? And we think about that, and we think about what happened in the lessons. Think beforehand. Make sure that you understand the deep meaning of the goal and you can forecast the students' questions. You know that your student will face a lot of problems while you are transferring your knowledge to them. You can guess the problem, you can guess the questions that might have. Prepare that questions and prepare that answers. Even though your students may not ask you the questions, but you will have questions to ask your students back. That is usually teachers always done. They always do this case in class. So after their teaching, they ask the student, they spare some time for the student to ask. Okay, do you have time? Do you have questions to ask me? And then quiet in class. And the next question that teachers talk is, if you don't have a question, I will question you. If you don't have a question, I will ask you the question. And makes the students feel very difficult to accept because they feel afraid of the question. So that is the result. If they don't ask the teacher the questions, then teacher will ask them the questions. You can ask your student the questions unless you have question in your hand ready. Make questions and make answer of the lessons before you come into the class. Prepare your script. Prepare what you are going to say before you come into the class. And number 4, you have to understand the big why. The big why. If you teach about geography of Cambodia, then you have to know what is a why. What is the big why? Why do you have to teach that one? And why students have to learn the geography of that one? You understand, make you understand first that why students should learn about the geography. Why students should learn about the history of Phnom Penh and Phnom Srei. Why students should learn about that. If you know the big why, then you can propose the idea and ask students why in this hour you have to learn about Phnom Penh and Phnom Srei. Why? Find a big why and to respond directly to the why that might have, to make students feel attracted, to make students exercise their brain, that they are ready to accept the new knowledge. They know already that, okay, this time they are going to learn about Phnom Penh and Phnom Srei. And that's important that they have to know it. The big why maybe you have to understand the history of Phnom Penh and Phnom Srei. And it might appear in the exam. So this is a big why. Make sure that you know a big why is of the lesson. Number 5, you have to qualify the student. Qualify the students means you have to make a survey of your students. That's, do they have any pre-knowledge of the new concept that you are going to transfer, that you are going to teaching? Do they have any idea of that knowledge, that new knowledge? qualify your students, it means you have to ask some survey questions to know that if your students already know something about the topic. If you are going to teach about Phnom Penh and Phnom Thray, the qualified questions should be, have you ever visited Kampong Cham province? Why you ask that question? That is a qualified question. Because you want to know that your students have ever visited Phnom Penh, Phnom Thray or not. If they say that they have never visited Kampong Cham province, it means that they may not know about Phnom Penh and Phnom Thray. You make your survey at the whole class. How many students have ever visited Kampong Cham province? You may ask the questions. In Kampong Cham province, there is 2 big mountains. That is very historical mountains. And people know about that. And it's related to the traditional of Khmer people that men have to get engaged or ask the woman to marry. So that is a traditional way of the story. So you survey your student if they have some idea, they have some knowledge related to the topic you are going to teach. Do that first. All the 5 ways that I told you, it's very important and it's very helpful to enable your students' understanding. And hopefully it is helpful for you to teach your students to make them understand of the lessons, to make them apply the new knowledge successfully and effectively. So in sum, number 1, to enable your students' understanding and the application of knowledge, 1, make them happy. 2, dress properly and professionally. 3, prepare your script of teaching. 4, understand the big why. And 5, qualify your students, survey your students' knowledge. Thank you for watching.